this is my how-to to lift the Dinnie Stones. I have successfully lifted the Dinnie Stones as of now, and I watched a lot of people on their how-tos. And here's the first thing I'm going to say: do what works for you. Do not just pay attention to whatever they say to do. Okay? Most people lift big stone in the front. It wasn't comfortable for me. I lift a big stone in the back. And even people who lift big stone in the back, they still have like a straight on 90 degrees from stone to stone how they stand. I didn't. Mine was like, I almost faced sideways compared to everyone else because it felt comfortable to me. So just do what feels good for you. But I'm not going to talk about stance. I'm just going to talk about my actual program. So every week I did Dinnie's at least once for the past year. Some weeks I did twice. Now, if my hands got injured, I might skip a week here and there to let my hands heal. But I tried not to lift with straps on the stones. I tried to go barehanded every time. And I chalk up every time. No matter how the weight is, I chalk up. All right, so first, talk about the stones. Okay, there we go. All right, so right there, I've got, that's 313. The implements from Cerberus weigh 13 pounds, which is good because you're trying to get to 733, so it works out. What I did, those are 100-pound plates. So what I first did was I bought one 100-pound plate. Weights are still expensive. And I put it on the heavy stone side. And it just stayed there. Now, a lot of, some people, when you read, they do percentages. I don't remember what percentages is. It's like the big stone is like 30% more than the little stone. I don't know. I wasn't going to try to do that. I just knew that the big stone was about 100 pounds more than the little stone. So I put a 100-pound plate on there. So the implement itself is 1 pound more than the small implement. So at all times, my big stone is 101 pounds more than my little stone. Pretty close, right? Now, in lower weights, obviously the percentages are way off, but the big stone was always 100 pounds more. So I got used to that 100 pounds extra being on that right side. All right, so I'm going to show you how I lifted it, just to give you guys an idea and what the mental cues that I went through in my head. I'm going to turn the music down so you can hear me. I'm filming a how-to on the Dinnies right now. So, alright. So, like I said, I chalk up every time, no matter what, just to get used to feeling chalk in my hands, and I tried to never use straps unless I had to, unless my hands were injured and I needed to get a Dinnie day in. Okay, so again, you fill out your stance, how you want to lift them. This is what worked for me. I went basically in an L shape. My left toes are facing that way, my right toes are facing that way. So I'm almost in a sideways stance compared to everybody else. Once my stance was close, I reached down and grabbed the ring, big ring, and I got small hands. So whenever I grabbed the big ring, my cue was middle finger, middle of the thumb. So whenever I do my hook grip, my middle finger goes right over between the end of my thumb and my first knuckle. Okay? Make sure that one's locked in. Then I grab the little ring, and obviously it's much smaller, so I just feel where it's comfortable, and I stay. Then it's a deadlift cue for me. Make sure my feet are right, and I concentrate on my lifting the big stone. The little stone doesn't exist to me. It's just all about lifting the big stone. Take a deep breath, put my shoulders in my pockets, and I explode through my legs. You see how the big stone came up later? That's okay. I don't concentrate on the little stone. It doesn't exist to me. The only thing that exists is this big stone. So once I feel that little stone go up, I can use it as a counterweight, but I'm just concentrating on lifting the big stone. All right, so next set, I'm going up to 493. So I added 180 pounds, 2 plates to each side. Big stone is still 100 pounds more than the little stone. I don't do percentages. It's always 100 pounds more, right? So I always keep that, I just start with that first 100-pound plate there. So again, I'm not gonna do reps. I'm just gonna lift this weight and then go up to a higher weight, 1 rep at a time. Whenever I injured my hands the most in training was whenever I was trying to do reps. I love the Windler 531 program. Love it. I put on a lot of weight, I put on a lot of mass, I put on a lot of strength doing the Windler 531 program. But it tore my hands apart going up and down and up and down and up and down with these Dinnie rings. So yeah, it conditions them, but that's when I saw the most injuries to my hands, was whenever I was doing reps, not whenever I was doing holds. Holds, I'd still get a tear here and there, but not a massive tear. Whenever I was doing reps, I was ripping like 2 to 3 calluses off at a time, and I mean whole calluses. It wasn't just like a crack and barely kind of pulling it. I mean, it tore it off. So that's like 2 weeks to recover. So that's when you'd see me lifting with straps or taking a week off from the Dinnies. So it actually ruined a trip to Ohio for me to lift the replica stones. I say it ruined. I still got a chance to get my hands on the replica stones, and I still learned a lot. It changed my stance. My stance was way different until I lifted the replica stones. But I was worried about getting them off the ground at all because I had callus tears. And you may not think it's a big deal, but if you start training for the Dinnies, a callus tear is kind of a scary thing because it ruins a few weeks of training. So especially if you're getting close to the day when you're about to go over to Scotland, it's really scary. All right, so I went up to 493. Again, I'm going to chalk up. I'm just going to lift it once. I'll go through all of my cues again. Do what works for you. I'm just telling you what I did and what worked for me. All right, so again, I get my feet roughly where I want them, basically the right area. Okay. Get my hand right on the big stone. Again, I got small hands, so I get my thumb in a comfortable position. And I put my middle finger between the end of my thumb and the first knuckle. And on the little ring, I just grab it somewhere comfortable. Feet are right. Deep breath. Put my shoulders in my pockets. Push through my legs. Lift the big stone. Whenever you get close to about 500 pounds, you start to feel some pulling in your hand, right? Just give them a break. Right, take a few minutes off before you go to your next set. Let your hands kind of relax a little bit. Make sure you get the feeling back in them. They're not hurting. You don't want them to be hurting before you grab the rings. For me, I always made sure my hands felt good before I went to my next set. I never went into the next set while my hands were hurting. So I'm at 673. So this is what I always go to whenever I was training. I get to at least 673. And then I decide where to go up from there. Whenever I was about 2 to 3 months out, I started just adding another plate to each side, so I'd go up to 763. So I was comfortably lifting more than what the Stones would weigh. And I say comfortably, 3 to 4 second hold was a good day for me on that weight. But I think it worked, because I got about a 12-second hold when I was in Scotland. Which, by the way, I know I've already said it on here. I may have not uploaded the video by the time I upload this video, but was the coolest experience of my life. I am definitely going to go back to try to do the strongman event, because just going there once is not enough. If you get a chance to train to go to the Dinnie Day, if you get a chance to go to Dinnie Day, do it. Stevie Shanks, Brett Nickel, the people at the Belogi Estate, everybody was just amazing. They did the Jan Todd games. Jan Todd was awesome. I'd go on and on about it. It was just such a wonderful experience. And if you're a weightlifter and you've ever thought about doing the Dinnie Stones, do it. Do it. It was great. All right, so again, something I want to focus on in this one, because we're getting pretty close to the weighted stones. I'm still going to go through my same cues, but the one I'm really going to focus on is just focus on the big stone. The little stone doesn't exist. And you kind of understand that whenever you get to bigger weights. Like, you're just trying to get that big stone off the ground. If you watch people lift the Dinnie Stones, you see the little stone go up really quick, and they're struggling with the big stone. So just focus on the big stone. The little stone's going to go up, I promise you. The little stone's going to go up. You just got to focus on the big stone. All right, so now, since we're up pretty high, I'm going to belt up on this one. Alright, I've already told you the cues that I use. Feet first, get your hands right. Check your feet again, deep breath. Drop your shoulders. Lift with your legs, lift the big stone. Alright? I'm not going to talk myself through it, this is heavier weight. I'm not going to talk out loud. I'm just going to do it in my head. There you go. So the heavier the weight got, again, we're only 50 pounds away from the weight of the stones here. So 60 pounds. The heavier the weight got, the longer it took me to actually lift it. The longer it took me to start my lift. I had to make sure my mental cues were right before I go in and lift it. If you watch my video of me lifting the stones, you can see that too. I took way longer than anybody else. Once I had my hands on the ring, it was like 15 to 20 seconds before I actually started my lift. And I could tell some people were starting to get nervous, like maybe they're thinking I was psyching myself out. But no, I was going through all those cues in my head, making sure everything was perfect before I went into the lift.